I have something for you from your person. An urgent message meant only for you. Take a second, get comfortable, drop your shoulders, and take a few slow, deep breaths. Let your body settle in the quiet, instinctive way it does when it recognizes something it has been waiting for long before your conscious mind finds the words to describe it. There are moments in life when understanding does not begin with thought. It begins with sensation. Your breathing slows without effort. The tension you've been carrying across your shoulders softens almost imperceptibly. Your jaw unclenches. Your heartbeat finds a steadier rhythm. It's as though every part of your nervous system whispers, "You can stop bracing now." The remarkable thing is that the body often notices safety, truth, or emotional significance before the intellect can explain why. Long before your thoughts organize themselves into neat conclusions, your nervous system has already been collecting tiny pieces of information: a tone of voice, a genuine expression, a feeling of emotional consistency, the absence of hidden tension. These subtle signals accumulate beneath awareness until your body quietly reaches a conclusion that your mind has not yet articulated. So don't rush to analyze every feeling the instant it appears. Not every meaningful experience arrives with immediate clarity. Some truths unfold gently, like the first light of dawn, gradually revealing a landscape that was always there but hidden by darkness. Give yourself permission to simply notice. Notice the deeper breath you didn't realize you had taken. Notice the calm replacing the constant vigilance. Notice how your thoughts no longer race to predict the next disappointment because, for this moment at least, there is nothing to defend against. There is profound wisdom in learning to trust these quiet shifts. A body that has spent months or even years anticipating criticism, rejection, conflict, or unpredictability does not relax easily. Hypervigilance becomes a habit. Survival becomes a posture. But when healing begins, one of its earliest signs is often not excitement or dramatic emotion. It is relief. A quiet, almost unfamiliar sense that you no longer have to remain on guard every second of the day. Allow yourself to remain in that space for a while. You do not need to force meaning from it immediately. You do not need to justify it or explain it away. Simply let your body remember what peace feels like. Let it relearn that not every silence hides rejection, not every pause signals abandonment, and not every act of kindness comes with invisible conditions attached. Sometimes the most important transformation happens not because you discovered something new, but because your entire being finally believes something it has long struggled to accept, that you are safe enough to stop surviving and begin living. And when your body settles into that quiet certainty, your mind will eventually follow, not as a leader pulling you forward, but as a companion, finally catching up to a truth your heart and nervous system recognized long before words ever could. This is meant to be read out loud or listened to over about 15 minutes of real, focused attention. Let it move through you slowly, like the first heavy rainfall after a long dry spell. Cleansing, sudden, impossible to deny. You wanted clarity. You wanted something honest, raw, immediate. Here it is. Go through it slowly. Let every line settle before moving to the next. Keep a notebook close by, because something in here might stir up a memory, a feeling, or a thought you'll want to hold on to. This message is knocking at the door of your heart. It's sudden, unfiltered, and real. This isn't a casual, "How are you?" kind of check-in. It lands like a stone dropped into calm water. You'll feel the ripples spreading before you understand why. Your body might react before your mind catches up. Your throat might tighten, your stomach might drop, or a memory might flash up out of nowhere, sharp and clear. There's a truth wrapped inside an emotion here. The emotion is intense and hard to brush aside. The truth itself might catch you off guard. Together, they're meant to shake something loose in you, something you thought you already understood. Before I tell you what it says, understand this. The shock isn't just about the words themselves. It's about everything underneath them. The years, the silences, the things neither of you ever said out loud. It's about the private corners of your connection, the hopes you never spoke, the doors you both quietly shut on each other. Expectations have been building up silently, like unopened letters piling in a drawer. This message is going to crack one of those doors open. It's direct, It's honest. It doesn't sugarcoat anything. Your person is saying plainly, "I've changed and I'm scared of losing you, but I haven't known how to show it." Their urgency comes from watching what happens when someone waits too long. They're standing at some kind of crossroads. Maybe they've already made a choice that affects you deeply. That's why this hits now, and why it hits hard. Two things will land on you at once. First, you're not as far from their heart as you assumed. Second, you're further from their actions than you hoped. That gap between what you wanted and what's actually true is what will shake you. The tone of this message is searching, apologetic, wide awake. Like someone who's spent sleepless nights going over their whole life in their head and finally can't stay quiet anymore. It's raw, it's urgent, and it can't be ignored. Now pay close attention, because there are three urgent truths tucked inside this message. The first is that your person is standing at a turning point, not because they want to walk away, but because they're afraid of losing you through inaction. Time, small habits, pride, outside influence, all of it has been quietly reshaping your relationship without either of you fully noticing. The urgency is real because waiting any longer has become too costly. They see what they stand to lose, and that realization is pushing them to act. This message is coming now because staying frozen isn't an option anymore. They're either about to step forward or pull back, and that choice will change everything between you. After this, you'll start noticing the signs: more attempts to reach out, longer messages sent late at night, sudden invitations to meet, clumsy confessions they'd normally keep hidden, or, on the flip side, a sudden silence, a deliberate pause while they gather the courage to become who they think you deserve. From here on, every action carries more weight. Every word means more. Their heart and their intentions are out in the open now, whether they're showing it through movement or through quiet stillness. Pay attention. This is the moment the truth comes to the surface and refuses to hide again. The second truth is the apology. It's genuine, it's heartfelt, and it's incomplete. They'll say, "I'm sorry," and they'll mean it. But that apology is only a starting point. Underneath it is a tangle of promises, hopes, and old patterns they haven't figured out how to break yet. They're not asking you to fix them. They're asking you to witness the first step of them trying to change. The urgency comes from their need to know if you'll meet them halfway, whether your response becomes a bridge or a wall. You'll know it's sincere, not because it's perfect, but through small, consistent, uncomfortable, repeated effort. The third truth is the thing they've been keeping hidden, the real reason behind the distance you felt. It's probably not what you've been imagining. There's no betrayal here, no secret person, no calculated plan to leave you behind. Usually, the real story is quieter and messier than that. It might involve fear, shame, unresolved struggles, or some internal battle you couldn't see from the outside. This hidden piece explains the pulling away, the silence, the hesitation. The real shock is realizing that what felt cold or distant or confusing was never actually about rejecting you. It was about self-protection, confusion, or fear. Once you understand that, everything looks different. It opens the door to compassion, empathy, and a whole new way of seeing the connection between you. This message marks a turning point. It's meant to be felt, not just understood intellectually. It asks for your presence, your attention, and your willingness to witness vulnerability without judgment. The effects of it will ripple out well past this single moment. The emotions, the facts, the hidden truths, they're all part of a bigger conversation your hearts have been avoiding. This is the invitation to finally listen, reflect, and respond with intention. Whatever it leads to, closeness, understanding, necessary change, this is the moment honesty finally breaks through and can't be pushed aside anymore. Pay attention, it matters more than you think. When it's time to express what you need, keep it short and clear. One sentence is plenty, something like, "I need clarity about what happened and how we move forward from here." Don't overwhelm them with a laundry list of complaints or a long recounting of the past. Your goal is to open up space where honesty, listening, and real intention can take root. Good timing, restraint, and clarity will help both of you step fully into this hard but necessary conversation. You might simply say, I need honesty for the next 30 minutes. Keep it that simple. This isn't the moment for a marathon session of grievances or digging up every old hurt, every slight, every misunderstanding. Save those for later conversations once you both have a clearer sense of where you stand, what you need, and what you're hoping to rebuild. Right now, stay with the present moment. Watch for small, consistent actions. Words on their own aren't enough. An apology is just the doorway. Actions are the proof, the real evidence of intention, commitment, and willingness to actually change. Pay attention to what they do, not only what they say. The first month after a message like this is a trial period, not a final verdict. It's a time to watch for patterns. Are they stepping up and owning their part? Are they showing up, even clumsily? Are they uncomfortable, but still sticking with it? This window is a mirror reflecting how serious they are about repairing things, not a moment that requires instant forgiveness or full reconciliation. Decide your boundaries ahead of time. Before you walk into this conversation, know what you're willing to accept and what you're not. Boundaries aren't punishments or threats. They're simply honest statements about what keeps you safe, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Your words can carry real weight here if you use them with intention. You might say, "I hear you, tell me everything," or "Thank you for telling me what's changed. I want honesty going forward." Keep what you say short, calm, and precise. Don't let the conversation turn into a series of excuses meant to save face. You can say calmly, "If you're staying, I need to see it in what you actually do, week after week. I'll listen, but I'm not going to be the only one fixing this." Your tone matters more than your volume. Staying calm shows strength, steadiness, and clarity. Your voice is your anchor. It keeps you grounded, even while emotions are running high around you. Take a moment to picture this. Close your eyes and imagine a door standing between you and your person. For a long time, it's been left slightly ajar, not shut, not wide open either. Their message is a hand knocking on the other side, urgently. You can feel it before you even see it. Stand at that threshold and notice the cool air of possibility brushing against you. It's your call whether you throw the door wide open it slowly, or leave it cracked while you watch and wait. Look closely at that hand knocking. Is it steady? Is it shaking? These small details tell you more about their real intentions than any words could. What if they aren't brave enough yet? Sometimes an urgent message like this arrives, shakes you to your core, and then it's followed by silence. People do this when they genuinely want to change but are terrified of what happens if they try and fail. If that happens, remember this. The message still means something. It proves the door exists. You don't have to sit around waiting for their courage before deciding your own next steps. Keep living your life while keeping that door somewhere in your peripheral vision. You can stay open-minded without making yourself available around the clock. You can hold space for them without losing yourself in the process. Your life keeps moving forward even while the possibility of reconnecting lingers in the background, waiting for their actions to finally match their words. If they do come back, insist on real clarity. Hold your ground. Say something like, "You said this and then you disappeared. What happened?" Ask calmly, but don't let go of your boundary. Ask for an explanation, accountability, and an actual plan going forward. Prepare yourself. Asking for clarity can bring up truths that sting, unsettle, or even shock you. Someone else's vulnerability is often messy. Sometimes it comes wrapped in confessions that stir up uncomfortable feelings or wake up fears you hadn't even named yet. Get yourself mentally ready for whatever they might share. Remember, the point of asking isn't to punish them. It's to understand, to see the full picture clearly, and to figure out whether you're willing to move forward together into honesty or whether walking away is what actually protects your life and your heart. What you learn might be hard to hear. Maybe they were going through a season of grief or depression that made it impossible for them to show up emotionally. Maybe real-life circumstances forced the distance, a move, family responsibilities, legal issues. Any of these things can shift the timeline of a relationship. Maybe they struggled with attraction to someone else, not necessarily a full betrayal, but a flirtation, a temptation, a moment of doubt that left them confused. Or maybe they're carrying patterns from their family, their childhood, or past relationships and pulled away trying not to hurt you. All of these things are fixable, but only with time, honesty, and often some outside support. It's up to you to decide honestly whether you want to be part of doing that work. If you choose to move forward together, put together a short, practical 30-day plan. Structure and clarity build trust much faster than vague promises ever will. Weekly check-ins of 15 to 30 minutes give you both room to speak honestly, without interruptions or distractions. Pick one small, consistent action that shows real change is happening. Something simple but meaningful, like showing up on time, sharing a calendar, going to counseling, or cutting out a harmful habit. Agree on a safety phrase you can both use when things get overwhelming, something like, "I'm flooded, can we pause?" And finally, agree to check in on where things stand after 30 days, and then again after 90. Real commitment shows up in repetition, not grand gestures. It's built through small, steady steps, not big declarations. If instead you decide to walk away, know this: the message still did its job. It brought the truth to light, forced a reckoning, and gave you important information about the relationship. Walking away isn't a failure. It's a deliberate choice to protect the person you're becoming. If this is the path you choose, do it with intention and real closure. Offer one calm, final statement without expecting to revisit the conversation. Clear out reminders that would pull you back into pain you don't need to keep reliving. Let yourself grieve the relationship you had hoped for, because grief is the honest companion of growth. It's a necessary part of being human. It lets your heart heal and your perspective expand. Finally, approach your response with both softness and honesty. This message will shake you because it forces a decision. Your person has dropped the mask of comfortable distance and shown you fear, regret, and a real longing to be held. That's messy. It's human. And your response needs to honor both the truth of it and the tenderness of the moment. You can respond with care without giving up your boundaries. You can acknowledge their vulnerability while still staying rooted in what's real for you. This is the balancing act of honest connection, where two people can meet without losing themselves, where love and accountability exist side by side, and where you come out of it stronger, wiser, and more aligned with the life you're building. Relationships are rarely simple. And the moments that shake us hardest are often the ones where truth collides with fear. When someone you care about pulls away, when messages come late or don't come at all, when distance grows for no clear reason, it stirs up a deep question in us. What did I do wrong? Or, am I not enough? But the truth is, often it has nothing to do with you. People withdraw for reasons that may not make sense until they finally feel safe enough to share them. It could be fear, grief, exhaustion, old wounds, or private battles they couldn't talk about until things became urgent. Moments of withdrawal aren't automatically betrayals. They're signs of someone wrestling with themselves, and the ripple effects reach you because you care. When an urgent message finally arrives, the shock isn't only about what's said, it's about everything that led up to it. The quiet doubts, the assumptions never spoken, the distance that crept in slowly. Every bit of silence, every moment someone chose not to speak carries its own weight. When honesty finally shows up, it lands heavier than the words alone. Your body might feel it first: tightness in your chest, a wave of emotion, a strange unease. That's your intuition telling you something important is being offered, something worth your full attention. Don't underestimate the courage it takes for someone to reveal what they've been hiding. They may have carried shame, fear, or grief alone for a long time. They may have pulled back to avoid hurting you while wrestling with something too heavy to share. That's human. And even if their choices caused pain, they also reveal a real vulnerability and a genuine wish to reconnect. Taking in a message like this asks for patience, steadiness, and real intention from you. You're being asked to hold their vulnerability without taking it on as your own, to witness the truth without falling apart, and to respond clearly without abandoning your own softness. Boundaries are what make that possible. They let you stay compassionate while still protecting your own emotional well-being. Boundaries define what you're willing to accept, what you're willing to watch unfold, and what you won't tolerate. They're statements of self-respect and clarity. Without them, vulnerability can feel like too much, and good intentions can get taken for granted or misread. A boundary set in the right place creates room for honesty to fully show up, for actions to actually match words, and for both people to see clearly whether the relationship has a real chance. Accountability is the language of repair. Words by themselves can't rebuild trust. Action has to follow. Small, repeated steps are what prove real commitment. Showing up, communicating honestly, cutting out destructive habits, going to counseling. These are tangible signs of intention. Consistency carries far more weight than any big gesture. Weekly check-ins, short, honest conversations, and clear agreements about expectations create structure, bring clarity, and cut down on miscommunication. A pre-agreed pause phrase for when emotions get too high lets both people step back without doing more damage. This kind of framework lets growth happen safely, giving honesty room to actually turn into action. Even when the message feels urgent, the decision is still yours. Whether you choose to engage, to observe, or to step back isn't a test of your character. It's an act of discernment. Walking away doesn't mean failure. It means protecting your future, honoring your own boundaries, and refusing to keep repeating patterns that hurt you. A clean closure, stepping back from things that remind you of the pain and grieving the version of the relationship you had hoped for, these are all signs of strength, not weakness. Grief is part of growth. It's the space where lessons take root and self-respect gets built. Tenderness and truth need each other. One without the other falls short. Tenderness without truth risks slipping into self-deception. Truth without tenderness risks becoming rigid and cold. Holding both lets you respond to someone's vulnerability without losing your own center. It lets you stay connected without giving up who you are. It lets you witness someone else's complexity while staying fully present with yourself. This balance is really what makes relationships sustainable and meaningful. It's messy, it's imperfect, but it's also deeply, fully human, and it's the path toward real love, mutual respect, and lasting trust. Urgent messages like this one are invitations, not ultimatums. They bring hidden fears, desires, regrets, and hopes into the light. They might shock you, unsettle you, or stir up feelings you'd buried. They're reminders that relationships are living, evolving things shaped by courage, honesty, and action. Meet this moment with awareness. Listen fully, feel it deeply, ask for clarity, watch for consistency, protect yourself, engage with real intention. Whether you choose to rebuild, to repair, or to walk away, what you learn from this kind of urgency will shape how you navigate connection going forward with more wisdom, compassion, and resilience. Every choice matters here. Every boundary, every question, every pause, every action moves you a step closer to clarity. Every bit of tenderness is an acknowledgement of someone's humanity. Every embrace of truth is you reclaiming your own power. Relationships aren't static. They're alive, breathing, always shifting. And in the face of urgency, shock, and revelation, you're being called to show up fully, courageous, compassionate, discerning, and awake. Your heart is capable of holding complexity. Your mind is capable of seeing clearly. The choices you make here will shape not just this relationship, but the strength, clarity, and honesty you carry into every connection in your life. Tenderness won't erase the hurt. It can't magically undo the pain, the frustration, or the disappointment you may have felt in this relationship. But it gives you room to hold space for both yourself and your person without judgment, without collapsing under the weight of it all. It gives your heart room to breathe, to feel, to acknowledge the messy human truth of what's happened. And truth won't destroy the tenderness either. Being honest with yourself, your boundaries, and your expectations doesn't take away from compassion. If anything, it strengthens it, because it lets connection be real instead of just performed. The most meaningful, lasting relationships are the ones that hold truth and tenderness together in balance. They're messy, they're imperfect, but they're deeply, fully alive.